Yes. Okay, let me do that. There. And nice. Okay, what's up, people? Anybody joining? Let me see here. Let me copy this here. How's it going, everybody? My autofocus. Hey, I'm gonna bring in Tyler and Jared. So there's Tyler and Jared. What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's up?
Let me see here.
What's up?
See if this thing works. So I'm gonna try to stream to Instagram as well with this weird deal that I like to call weird deal. Okay. Omaha, Nebraska. Nice. That's cool. Let me see here. So I need to see if this works. Ba-bum. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. We're gonna just let everybody join in, and then, yeah, we'll sort of get started. This is really just. I'll probably say this a lot. It's super informal. We're just hanging out, talking shop. Let's see here. That. Yeah. All right. Let's see if this.
I'm literally talking shop.
Hey. Oh, thanks, Daniel. I like to say that I'm.
Oh, it's
look,
gonna
I
be
can do
that
that.
kind
Look
of.
at that. What's
Don't act like that's not who you are.
Daniel says, "Look at these handsome devils. Look at that."
Woo!
Let's see. I don't know. Whoa, hey, hi from Germany. That's cool. Hello. Let's see.
I did Bible college out in Germany
Oh yeah, that's
long
right.
time
You did,
ago.
huh?
In
I mean, weird flex, but
yeah,
okay.
sprechen Sie kein Deutsch.
What is that? Oh, I have to select an account. Now, if I start live, let's see. Does this go live on Instagram? It works. I discovered something sort of new. I don't know. Yeah, I'm so new to this live streaming stuff, guys. I don't. Half the time, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. This is great. Look at this one here, guys. Look, this is great. Thanks, Phil. Baby beard, mama beard, daddy beard. Now, if
well done,
Jeremy joins us, was that Papa beard, Grandpa beard? That would be cool.
That's Grandpa Beard.
Grandpa beard. Hey, Grandpa. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Comments are enabled. Yeah, we're live on Instagram as well. That's kind of cool. Oh. All right, y'all. Oh, you're really doing shop work. Ooh, what are you doing? Are you making me something? Oh, look at that. Jeremy!
Hi, guys.
Yep, I'm Baby Beard.
There we go.
Yep, that's right, Phil.
How we
What's
doing?
going on? So, Jeremy, we're actually streaming on all the 3 major platforms.
Oh, you're kidding me right now.
Oh, you're real funny.
Yeah. 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 We're doing stuff.
Oh, look at us being super cool.
I don't know. My autofocus has been acting up today. So I don't know what's going on.
Hi, Jared. I love you.
Love you.
He's got boo Wi-Fi over there at the hotel, so
Come
looks like
on.
there's some sort of a delay there.
Game.
Nice.
Yeah, well,
All right, everybody. Well, welcome. This is just really informal hangout. We're gonna take some questions and talk about what we've been up to, things we've been doing.
Fun.
I've been loving the Insta 360 cam. I don't know if you guys saw that on
Oh man.
on the Instagrams, but that's been really fun.
Yeah, that was amazing, dude. That footage you put up with Jared.
We actually did a whole shoot with it as like a secondary camera. We were in an elevator and used it as like an interview style. And we went back and looked at the views, and like you could look at one side for interview A and then the other side for the interview B. It was really cool.
Yeah. It was really cool. Yeah, because you can cut it like you can. What's weird though is you still have to use, so even though it's Insta 360, you still have to use the GoPro plugin for Premiere, which is probably they're just probably like, yeah, we don't need to make another plugin. Just go ahead and use this. But then you can use the GoPro. You can reset your tilt, pan, zoom, all of that in post, which is cool. If it did better in low light, I think that would be like the killer. Like if they, but obviously it's a tiny little camera. I actually have it here. So it's a tiny little camera. So, but yeah, if it did better in low light, it'd be killer.
I only look at low light.
What are you up to, Jeremy? I see you over there. You're at the church already?
Yeah, Daniel and I are meeting up early to get some content ready for recordings this afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I gotta go into work later. Dang it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Actually, all three of you need to come too.
Ah, dang it.
I'm gonna eat some soup. Is that okay if I eat some soup?
that'll
No,
be
you're
all
good
right.
too. So okay. Sorry guys on the
Fine as long as you mute your mic.
I know. I went to mute my mic earlier and muted the camera. So
I can even scroll on the okay. So there's this program. So, obviously a lot of people it's against the terms of service to stream from a computer to Instagram, right? Well, loosely against, because they don't outright say it. But there's this program that I found called Promo V-Gram. I don't know why it's named that. But that's how I'm streaming to Instagram. And basically it's pulling the YouTube feed into Instagram. Okay. And then it shows an overlay of the phone, like your preview. But all of the actual comments and everything, it's just basically like it's emulating a phone. So I can scroll through the comments. So that's kind of cool. Stephen Lester. Shout out to Stephen Lester. Anything from that's really cool from like Elevation and stuff for Hillsong, all that stuff. My buddy Stephen. Yeah, low light, that's our life, Stephen.
Steven, you know my buddy Dylan. Dylan Seals. Amazing audio here.
So the question is, when I'm using my saws and CNC machine, would you like me to mute, or do you just want to get the gravity of?
I mean, I can mute you.
Wait, you have a CNC machine?
Yeah, he has.
Why didn't you show me that when I was in your shop?
I just want him to make me stuff, like random stuff. Just come to the office with random stuff.
But when you tell me
Didn't you already do that for you? Didn't you wanted slow-mo?
a water tank aquarium, that's not random. That's a very specific ask.
I need you to CNC me an aquarium, okay? Let's see. We got enough people, I think. Okay, we'll start answering some questions here. So on Instagram, so I gotta go between like 3 or 4 things. So Instagram, somebody asked, and this would probably be more a question for, because I think you've used it, Jared. Canon C70. Have you used that yet? Have you guys used that over there at the old Bethel?
No, we haven't used it. But for that price point, I would go with a red Komodo, or or even the Eva one.
That's true.
Just personal preference. Komodo, just because it's my favorite camera that I've ever used.
Dude, I was watching the Bayside stream.
I'll take a Komodo over.
I was watching the Bayside stream the other night, and they're all on red Komodos, and it looks amazing. One of the best looking streams I've seen. I mean, it just looks amazing.
Oh yeah, you've never watched a transformation stream, then, have you?
Every single day.
I could help myself. I feel like a radio DJ now. Complete. My life is complete. My life is complete.
Is there a reason I can't hear Jared?
What's that?
Is there a reason that I can't hear Jared?
No, he was just on delay. Jared's on delay.
Yeah, but I can't hear him. I also haven't heard
dogs?
Jeremy. Yeah.
What?
I hear you.
Let me
Totally
try.
fine.
On since
But I haven't heard
Wi-Fi isn't working.
Gotcha.
anyone else.
All right. We'll see.
I hear
we'll see
Jared
later,
and I hear Tyler.
I'm gonna swap over. I'll be right back.
Something's wrong with your phone, Tyler. All right. You can hear me though, Tyler, right?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay. Can you hear Jeremy? Jeremy, talk, Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
I see
But I hear
Jeremy's lips
Tyler.
moving, but I do not hear him.
That is weird.
Should I start?
Well,
Stop?
it's mobile. Yeah, you might want to start and stop too.
All right.
Cool, guys.
I think it's the Lord telling us it's just supposed to be me and you, Chad.
Yep, just us. Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
I'm telling you, this is totally informal. Okay, now I'm going to start scrolling through. There's a lot. Hey, guys, thanks for joining. How many people do we have? Nice. So, people are joining. Tyler's back. Jared's back.
Let's see.
Ooh. Oh, whoa, Tyler's funky looking. Oh, because he had a portrait mode. Sweet.
Hear me now, Tyler?
I can.
Yay! It was just a little buggy. Okay, cool.
Hey, there's a good question on here, Chad.
Yeah, where is it at?
Over on YouTube, it says, how do you begin to craft the look and feel for your live stream? Or do you advise smaller ministries to begin?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic because usually the first thing that would come out of my mouth is, well, what's your budget? I'm a big firm believer in you get what you pay for, but also all you have is all you need. So if you got an iPhone, stream with an iPhone. Focus on audio, focus on good audio, focus on lighting, getting lighting in there. And I really feel like you don't have to break the bank to start. Now, if you have enough in the budget to do it, then by all means, try to get a better gear. But you don't have to break the bank to start, I think.
See, I approach it a little differently. I think it starts with conversations with the senior pastor. Like, what is your what is the story that your lead pastor is trying to tell? Because it very well could be a TV studio and not what we're trying to do here at Transformation Church. Transformation Church, we're trying to do cinematic broadcasts. That's what we want to do. That may not be what every lead pastor is looking for. So, like, your job as a production person, a tech person, is you're trying to take the vision from your leader, and you're then trying to move that into the production world and how that you replicate the gospel to others and how you share that. So I think it starts with from the pastor, also probably with guidance from you, of like, hey, this is how we could do this, maybe showing some examples and things like that. But I think in a lot of ways, you have to stay on board with what the vision and mission of the church is first, and then translate that over to your live stream. So like at TC, we're big and do a lot of things, but that is our pastor's vision, is like, we're going to represent God's the lost and found for transformation in Christ. And in a lot of ways, we're a media company that has a church in it. So like, that's why we do things the way that we do, is because that's the vision God's given us to be able to share the gospel with others.
Yeah. You always have to go back to leadership. Like, everything has to go, no matter how hard, Jared, you had actually a better connection. I can see your connection here. You had a better connection on the other, on the Wi-Fi. Yeah. There's one on Instagram. Tyler, you could probably answer this one. How many frames of room delay should you expect moving to 24 frames per second?
How many frames of, like, as in like recording to iMag?
I think so, yeah.
Or like from camera to iMag?
Yeah.
Man, that is such a loaded question. I mean, so the biggest thing with lag is we're taking a look at every single piece of gear that you have from point A to point B. Any one of those pieces of equipment could add multiple frames of delay. Now, the goal would be that you're like, do you have HDSDI inputs into your iMag display, whether that's LED wall, which you probably should, or have HDSDI, or is it a projector? If you've purchased a projector high enough for HDSDI, then input lag probably isn't an issue. But if you're going HDSDI to an HDMI converter, HDMI over Cat5 extender, and then backing all that back down so that you can get, so it's really hard to answer that question without just knowing the whole system. Every single piece of gear is evaluated for latency from camera to iMag.
Yeah, yep. Definitely say the same thing. A lot of times, though, also it's really like, even at Bethel, so right now, because we're in a lobby at TC, we don't have iMac screen set up. But even at Bethel, like, it's very minimal. Like, you can kind of see it when you cut to a wide shot, and then it takes like a second to cut to that. But when we're actually in the room and live, it's very, very minimal.
I will say the worst lag I've ever experienced is through TriCaster. So if you're looking at equipment to purchase, really demo that. Like, it was legitimately maybe 2 seconds of latency, which is horrendously tell. Like, that's, whenever we're talking about like what's visible to the eye, you start talking about 3 or 4 frames, you will start to notice. For those who like really, really pay attention, you can probably get all the way to a quarter, maybe a half a second. A half a second is a decent amount of lag, though. So even in a big arena with hundreds of feet, like half a second, you're starting to kind of get into that's awkwardly visible. And we was easy 2 to 5 second delay whenever we switched it to 1080, and it was like, well, guess we're staying at 720 then.
It's crazy.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of rule of thumb about, like, for every piece of gear or IO you add in the signal chain, is it like 1 frame that you're at, like, you know what I'm saying? Or is it kind of like gear specific of what is ending up in the chain?
It would be more gear specific. Most stuff should only add under a frame of latency. I mean, we're talking about 0.1 or less hopefully less latency. Now, the trick is if you have a complex system, like I have 7 devices in between camera and my projector, and you're experiencing latency, now you have the time to figure out, okay, is that equally being distributed, or is there specific one piece of gear that actually, there's a whole lot of processing being done in this one specific shouldn't be done. So either swap it up with a different brand or figure out your path.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, if you guys stick with us, we're gonna get into some questions with Jared soon, because I really want to talk about Handheld and how he does it. So the Wi-Fi is rough over there, so we'll see how long he lasts.
It's easy. It starts out with 12 years of jiu-jitsu.
12 years of jiu-jitsu.
Once you're a 3rd degree black belt, you are then given
that's great.
Komodo.
Okay, so how's the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese, Jared?
Given a camera.
Jeremy, that's what they were asking.
It's actually the cookie crumble yogurt.
That's great. Thoughts on Teradek Bolt Force or 7? Wow, I just lost it. 750 LT. Love Teradek. Love everything they do. It all goes down to where you're at, what you're doing, how you're using it. There's definitely, it's not perfect, so there's definitely going to be some places that you lose signal. Mainly if you're broadcasting out of a lobby and you have tons of RF signals bouncing off of the lobby. But I don't know what that's like.
When you have 100 linear feet of LED wall in front of you and 60 feet of LED wall behind you.
Yeah. Hey, Jesse's on the good old Instagrams. Hi, Jesse. Miss you, buddy.
Jesse.
Yeah, it's going to be up on IG after, guys. Okay, so now let's go back to here. Oh yeah, Phil. He's talking about variable frame rate on the C70 versus global shutter on the Komodo. It's loose. Yeah, that's a big thing too. Like, yeah. Let's see. Anybody have experience shooting lower frame rates while doing iMag? We currently run 5994, but really would rather run the whole thing in 30 or 24. Yeah, I mean, at Bethel, we were at 24 all throughout. So ATEM to wherever we outputted, either to iMag, TVs, YouTube, it was all 24. Here at TC, it's a little different. For services and everything, for sermons and stuff, we're doing 29. Because we found that just looks better. So I think the biggest thing to take away is that everything is always different. So, at Bethel, 24 straight through looked really great, and we loved it. So we kept it at that. Here, 29 for the sermon actually looks better than 24 for the sermon. And there's some other stipulations too, hardware and gear and stuff like that. But you have to go according to what looks best for you and your house. And so, yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Currently, college student, love to take production full time. What step do you think would help me get this spot? I'm actually going to let Jared answer this one. Look, I can show it. Ooh, that's cool.
That's better. So, story is a little bit different, and just let me know if you guys the production full time. And there's obviously schooling and stuff, but what I guys I would still continue and start volunteering on the side, goes into that, and see if you have a passion for it. Things that you'll learn, obviously, if you were to go to a film school, I don't think anyone on this chat group of 4 went to film school. Personally, it was something that was given to me by the Lord. I had somebody come up and just prophesy over me and said, "Hey, like he's gonna gift you creatively, and he's gonna gift you a storytelling." I walked away going like, "That's cute. That's not me." And then I was literally seeing things differently. I understood framing. I understood all of it. So for me, it's always been a gift. If you're looking into and you're like, "Hey, I have a heart, I have a desire for this," then start to just volunteer even and grows from that, and see kind of where you land in your is, because if your passion can line up with are doing, there's beautiful worship. I encourage you just to, while you're considering school, college, start volunteering and just see live and fall into that.
That's good.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. So, like, my degree is in transformational Christian ministry. Like, I went to be a pastor. Never thought I'd be doing this. I didn't even start production like as like a thing until I was probably 34 years old. And so it started out volunteering in churches. It like any concert that came to town, like I would call the promoter and be like, "Hey, do you want me to like come lift truss and hook up lights?" You know what I mean? Like, and just kind of started working my way up, and then just like always like trying to honor God by being very faithful where I'm planted and not trying to always be looking ahead. And so like I would sit with any audio guy that would sit and listen, any integrator that would let me come and hang out and check out new gear. Like, so yeah, I have no schooling for this. And I even got started in production later in life. So I mean, I've been doing this for now, 7 years. And so with literally no formal training, so like, yeah, you can go to the Full Sails, but I think you're going to be better off like making if God has laid that anointing on your life to use production to glorify Him, then like you may make yourself more marketable just by showing up at a local integrator's door and going, "Hey, can I clean all your cables for you?" Can you just teach me to over under and I'll keep your inventory clean, and just start volunteering and working your way up. You'll probably gain more practical life experience that way and just volunteering in your local church than you're going to potentially even by going to a school, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I think experience a lot of times can trump schooling in a lot of ways. But I mean, it's not to say that, I still try to learn as much as I can. You can't just go and you can apprentice for sure with some people, but also it's, you still gotta learn on your own. You still gotta do stuff. Okay, let's get into some handheld stuff, and then everybody that's asking questions, we'll get to that soon. But I wanted to talk about your approach, Jared, to handheld video. I know a lot of it is definitely our cinematic approach, that we've done for a while now. But even in that, like, I'd love to know your thoughts on like that transition from how you, in your mind, like when we started to do this, how did you, feel, think, what was your thoughts and stuff like that?
Right. Like I came into Bethel at the right moment, because the first conference that was the first time that we switched styles, and fresh in regards to, we want to do handheld movement that's actually going to, and really try to amplify what's going on in the room, so that so what I try to do when I'm doing handheld, I'm always prayerfully asking, what are you seeing in the room, and what do you? And so with hand, if it's a big energy movement, my camera movements are matching that. I'm if the LED wall, I'll drop my shutter down, and I'll even just if it's a slow movement, it's very just kind of that it's almost matching what's happening song. So I'm trying to add emotion through camera movement, and that means that on my movements intentional with how I do things. It's not moving. It's how do I help amplify what's way that helps better craft a story, and the way that is by trial and error and by making mistakes. Like we were at Bethel and and I'm on keys and yeah, my connection is rough.
We can still hear you. You're good.
See how that goes. You can still hear me all right? Okay. I don't know. Wi-Fi is there's moments where and like okay, I'm going to try this, and maybe it doesn't mean you're learning. So there's freedom to step out and for leadership with their approval, where it's okay. I want to go. Hey, I can string 6 shots together if I need to. So I'm always I'm trying to highlight what's going on emotionally, spiritually, what's happening in the room that I can help capture and essentially be the eyes of, for the one that's going to actually watch this or even watch it on iMac.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's good advice. What's your frame? Like, I know you kind of touched on it, but when I am actually like shaping it, right? I'm cutting and I'm moving and I'm doing stuff. Or you're moving and you're doing stuff. Um, what are some practical tips I think you can give for people? I think one of the questions here. Let me see. I actually saw it because it's funny because the same thing is on Instagram, and here I'll just put it up here. And basically, it's like movement wise, like and then also like even transitioning, like when I'm asking you, like, hey, can you go get drums now? And you're like halfway across the stage. Even practical tips like that.
Yeah, and it was cutting out. My Wi-Fi's. I'm gonna try and do my best. What I'm doing, move quickly. I'm ready for a shot, even in between what I think is. So that could mean, and I'm going okay. I may want to get to a single bass and I have a guitar, even though I'm on drums. I'm a shot of the bass singer, so that if he takes me, I'm as opposed to I get a shot, put the camera down, walk. Always giving him something, even if it's not ideally. So the for that question in particular with the Sony camera, that on the Sony cameras, because a little bit harder. Typically, if you have a heavier, um, but the Sony stabilization, and so it's just a manner of like way to lock it into your body, even if we can get into you, and then you're holding it this way. I contact against my body so I can lock it in, as opposed to just holding it out where get anything from it. So if I'm locked, basically try to keep my upper body stable and movement actually comes from my legs. I'll do this a little bit. I could try that. Hold up. Still hear me?
Yeah. You're not breaking up on my end, so it might be something by the time it hits everybody else, but yeah.
Okay. No
But this is being
worries.
recorded too,
So
and I can
most of my movement comes from. So most of my movement is supposed to like my arms and my hands. So camera movement, I'm locked. Then I'm actually moving and being balanced by my legs, almost like I'm holding a gimbal. I'm not holding a gimbal. I'm still just locked in. So with handheld movement, and I'm gonna like tutorial on handheld camera to be helpful, but I'm literally just and think you have right now, and what does he need, and where am I going? So I'm always my shots to where, which means I have a few different subjects that I can rack my focus to, either whip or I'm going to make a move. I not trying to search for a shot and hope everything I do has deep intentionality behind it. I'm going. This is what I'm going to give him, and if he stays on me longer than I'm planning, here's where I can go from that, where I still am giving hair for it. So there's way director, and also when you start to work with your realize what they need. But the big is locking that into your ideally 3 points of contact on your body, hand, another hand, and into your shoulder. You really want to be able to. One of your hands is going to be working focus, be stabilizing it, but I'm pretty much always pulling it into my body there to where my right hand that's holding the handle, holding the camera, it's just keeping it from doing, just keeping it from rocking back and forth, so it doesn't look. Um, and then your walk, like you're either doing a gimbal walk if you're familiar with, or you're doing like a marching band walk where it's heel to. And what I typically do is I'll switch my hips and words because I find that it's easier for me to walk back than it is for me to go forward because I tend to get more steps going. Please switch my hips and walk backwards, know where I'm going, so that as I'm getting my shot behind me and check every now and then, know that my framing is good. Watch kind of where. So again, intention and stability in regards to like all my movement is coming from me bending, either doing a gimbal kind of, and then the very minimal movement with my hands is quick and simple, and it's very little because a small camera is actually going to look really big on screen.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Just a couple of follow-ups here that people are asking. I can how do you focus so quickly? When you're moving shots between instruments or people. Really it comes down to knowing your lens and practice. Is there any other tips that
That's
you, or
huge.
even, because I mean, Tyler does handheld too. Tyler's been trained in handheld too, so you can chime in whenever you feel like it, Tyler. But yeah, it's really just practice. Like, these guys, they practice a lot. Like even when, especially during sound check, like they're constantly on there. So
can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool. So one of the things, like what Chad and I just talked about a few weeks ago, is like, I think a common misconception is your eyes are always looking at your LCD, like they're always looking at your viewfinder. For me, it's like I lead my shots with my eyes. I'm looking where I'm going. I'm looking at what the shot's going to be, and then I get my camera to match what my eyes see. So it's not like I'm not staring at my LCD or I'm not staring at my viewfinder trying to make the shot happen. I'm finding the shot and then just going to it. And like a lot of that's the muscle memory, the practice, 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 but it's not, I'm not going to be glued in, because if I'm glued in, then my peripheral, like I'm not seeing my next shot. And that's what helps me get to, oh yeah, that's number 2 over there.
Yeah. Let's see here. Can your camera shots make audio sound better? Oh, that's great. No, it can't. That's why I think it's funny, because the 3 things that I tell people, like in order of what should be done first, a lot of people are going to be, oh yeah, video, you got to focus on video. Nope. You focus on lighting first, focus on audio, video should be last. Get those 2 things first, corrected first and good first. Yeah. Let's see here. Any online course of some sort, church production management course you also recommend. That's probably, oh look, he showed up just in time. Let me bring him back in here. He had to go. Jeremy had to go use the restroom. I'm just kidding. He didn't. He had to go get some things fixed. But Jeremy, somebody's asking about like any well, it's twofold. So on Instagram, what camera handling volunteer training material would you recommend for a production team? Online course of some sort, any church production management that you also recommend. I'm just going to do a quick shout out here that I'm going to mute Tyler. Muted you. That's great. I'm just going to basically training for volunteers and things of that. You're talking about mostly getting them together as much as possible, showing them examples of what you want to do, how you want to do it, and then also pushing out training nights. Do training nights. Have them come in. Train if there's no worship team or anything happening, put a mic stand out and have them train on the mic stand. Things like that, or instruments. Have them train by grabbing instruments. There's some courses. MXU, for instance, has just started some video courses, so check that out on MXU. And I know there's some other resources on like productiononline.com has some cinematic broadcast resources that my good friends Drake and Jesse did. So look at that. And then my old boss also has something on Production Online as well. Yeah, there's that. Jeremy, do you know of any like production management courses online?
I can't specifically think of any production management, but here's what I have come to find. If you reach out to guys who are maybe at larger churches, a lot of them would be willing to share things that they have learned along the way that would help. And so that's a lot of what I did. I read a lot of books, a lot of leadership books. What I'm getting ready to read next, it's called, what is it called? Herding Tigers, How to Lead Creatives. Herding Cats, How to Lead Creatives, or something along those lines. A lot of those businessy type books can really help. I mean, kind of in a way, leadership's leadership. There's not anything to me production related when it comes to leadership, because like it's all the concepts you learn to do other things, you can translate over to leading a production team.
Right. Yeah. That's true. 100%. Most of my, video directing, even just it comes from leadership stuff from, you know, famous John Maxwell or Bill Johnson, Chris Valentin, Mike Todd, you know, all these people that I know and consider mentors in my life and things like that. Let's see here. Let me go down here. Ooh, I like this one. These there's two questions that are pretty much the same here. Let me see. Well, actually, no, they're two different. So let's do this one first. As a leader, how do you effectively motivate the production team to think about the weekend worship experience before Sunday? That's a good one. I don't. I just let them come whenever and do stuff and just like, yeah, whatever. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Tyler doesn't have audio anymore. I think you gotta quit again, Tyler. Sorry guys, we're trying out this new thing too. Last week we demoed ShowFlow TV. We're actually in Restream IO right now, studio. I think when I mute you, it does something. I unmuted. Really motivating your team, it comes down to community. So if you're not constantly getting together with your team aside from Sundays, figure out times when you can actually do that. Figure out times when you can just get together, hang out, break bread, and develop community. This way, they'll get to know you, they'll get to know your heart, they'll get to know how you do things and why you do things. And then from there they'll basically push on through. It'll basically just cross over to work, and you know, they'll know like, man, Chad's always talking about, man, being excellent, being ready, being coming in ready, like he's always coming in ready, or you know, things like that. I'm going to try to mimic that. I'm going to try to be that. I'm going to try to be ready. And at the same time too, you know, constantly, you know, once that relationship is built from hanging out with them, talking, you know, without talking shop. So like community, just have them come over for dinner, have a big, you know, volunteer night, have dinner provided. You know, we recently did something for our relaunch team that we're doing, because you know, we're basically relaunching our church, you know, when everything is done with the remodel and stuff. So and we had dinner, you know, broke bread together. So do focus on those things first, and then the rest will sort of come. But you also, it's also, you know, there's definitely the practical stuff. You know, I send out to Jared like before he flew up to come and help us with these recordings. He had the audio. You know, he knew what songs we were going to do. And he himself knew his position on camera, so he's going to listen to the songs, picture it in his mind what he wants to do. So yeah, there's anybody else want to chime in on that one? I don't know if I'll put the question back up there if you guys want to. I don't know if you guys want to do that. Some epic beards, yeah, some epic beards for sure.
I think when you're dealing with motive, honestly, I mean, worship should be a distinction between me getting ready for a weekend service, me on a Tuesday morning alone with the Lord. It has to flow from heart. This is who I am. I'm not doing this as a job. I'm not doing this just get this done. I'm actually doing this because I love Jesus. This is just an extension of loving Jesus that I get to. I'm just as much a part of the worship team as anyone. I just happen to have an instrument that's a camera in the heart. So the heart behind why we do, fully loved by the Father, and that our identity in the fact that we're known. So I'm not doing anything for those things. And as I operate, what it allows me to do is step into a weekend and actually feel like, oh, like Lord, we get to do this. There's a joy in that. There's a beauty to the ending of oh man, I'll do this. And it actually shifts how you film, do production, and it'll shift your entire team. You're actually able to sit there in a place and understand worship rather than work.
Yeah.
I think too, like I'm gonna say, so at Transformation Church, we're hot, right? We're humble, open, and transparent. So if your culture is people aren't thinking about the weekends before they get there, I might say, hey, take a look at yourself in the mirror as the leader. Are you thinking about the weekends before you get there? Because if you've created a culture that is like, people are just kind of showing up, there's not a lot of communication. Well, what do you mean you didn't know your part? I sent out Planning Center a week ago. Well, yeah, that's great. But did you leave any notes in there of like, hey, handheld cams, I want you to be thinking about this on this song. It'd be really cool to grab a couple of these angles. Hey, I think there's going to be audio guys. There's going to be this big moment that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not communicating the importance of it throughout the week, my question might be, are you building a culture where not thinking about the weekend is acceptable?
That's good. Yeah. That's really good. Let's see. Keeping on with that. Let's see. I feel like teams are prepared regarding having a plan each song, meeting with volunteers, pre-service. How much?
Here, just real quick.
Yeah.
Just to answer real quick. Yes, we are in manual focus the whole time. So we don't do anything in autofocus.
No. Too many variables. Too many things that could go wrong. How do we get people in the congregation to get used to camwalks walking around and people walking around in their field of view? This is also part of the reason why we actually put iMag in the room. They can see the end result, especially your leaders, right? So they can see why, oh, there's a person in front of the worship leader right now, and I can't really see the worship leader's face, but if they look up at the screen, they look at the shot, and they go, oh, that's why. So it's really one of those things where you want to, again, going back to showing examples. So that we don't do a separate for worship. There's never a separate iMag feed going into there that we shoot out. So it's always the same feed. They get to see the camera angles, and then also, it goes down to your house and what your leadership wants. There's going to be some leaders that, yeah, you know what, actually, we don't want people on stage. So, how do we capture that, right? So you can look at getting longer focal lengths, getting, a lens that can throw farther. So that way you can pull up, people you can make it kind of look like you're on stage when you're just off stage, and still get some movement in there. But yeah, that's pretty much like, for me, that's the biggest thing is, as if they see the output and the end result of why there's people in front of stage or why there's people there. A lot of them, I would say a good 95% of the people won't even notice. It kind of goes back to the old thing too. Like, when people were like, man, do you need lighting? Do you need all of this? And it's just, everybody has a different preference and a different taste. And, like even at Bethel, there were people that did not want to be on camera. And we actually had sections that we could tell security, like, yeah, if they don't want to be on camera, they can sit there. We'll never get them, so, dogs. Let's see here.
Tyler.
I have dogs.
Hey, Chad, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the crowd cam thing. So what I found on getting the actual congregation used to Chad touched on the leadership side of it really well. iMag helping. What I found, what it was probably a couple months of just the crowds for people to get used to us.
Yeah.
up and down aisles. And it, like there was, it took a while for people to get used to it, but once that became a new normal for us as a church, yeah, like that's fine. Like that camera's just gonna be running around for it. They may be in a row. They may not. With your cam ops in, sorry, Jay, just we miss you, dude. You have to in your crowd shots. You have to make sure you always kind of have a second shot set up pretty quick. Somebody has their hands up and they're worshiping, and then all of a sudden they're and stare at you, and it's like over here now. But
right.
like there's the just planned out. If you're getting somebody worshiping, like the backs of them is like full on in their face. God said that's going to come from all in regards to what their vision is for that. Want your camera ops to be like how involved you ways to get around that, but you have to be willing to submit to the authority of you before you just run around and just
Yeah. Yep. It's good. Let's see. Our church just purchased 2 Pocket 6Ks. Do they need to be scaled before hitting our Ross Carbonite switcher? They should not be. It all depends on what frame rate. You just make sure they're all in the same frame rate. So if you're running at 2997 for your switcher, make sure your camera's at 2997 and they'll all talk nicely. Let's see here. Hey, my niece is on here.
Chat.
What's up? Yeah. Freeze. Yeah, go ahead.
Answer real quick for what Gabe so to get cam ops to be creative and move around the stage more. Real quick, understand that if you actually make the footage, it should actually cause them to want how they're capturing things and what you're looking for. So because I'm from Bethel, I'll go back and I'll watch old Bethel stuff, or so that I can kind of critique my own shots and differently if I could plan it out again. So their footage and make them watch stuff that I desire for it to look like, to give them examples that we as a team at Bethel was honestly by watching every single one of us as a cam. So she's best on drums, he's on follow. Great. I'm going to watch everything that he does on follow. I'm going to watch everything on drums. And we all just kind of ended up copying each other and just talking through stuff. So make them watch stuff and that you actually really respect and vision wise that you want, and that'll help a ton.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. And we haven't started doing that here, but what we were doing at Bethel was definitely we would bring the team in and watch back services. When you're in the moment, like even for directing, like there are times when I'll go back and even watch some old stuff, and I'm like, whoa, how did I not know that camera 3 was shaky, super super shaky, right? And so as a whole, we'd get together, and really talk through stuff. Hey, this was celebrate the wins, celebrate the losses. As well, and say, oh, that wasn't that wasn't good. Jared, you should never whip pan on a slow song to keys. Things like that. So really, always you should get into a habit. If you guys can't create like a night where, hey, let's all get together and watch through the stuff, or during the day, try to make it a something that just becomes a habit where, hey, go back and watch the service, watch the camera that you were on, You know, and take notes of, wow, you know, this move that I did seemed awesome in the moment, but didn't end up turning out too good. You know, let's see.
To answer what way of calling shots can help when you're going fairly quickly. Like obviously our standard is 2-2. Coming to 2 is live, that kind of stuff. But for us specifically, when we're in a real tight zone of, man, who knows where it's going to go and who knows how fast it's going to be, we just call out everyone's live. And so.
Oh no. That's great. Oh, that's great.
It's not uncommon for you to hear Chad or Tyler yell out when they're directing. All right, guys, everybody stay alive, stay usable, stay usable.
Yep. That's where he was going. Yeah. Yeah. There are times when, especially for what we do at TC, the style of music that we do, there's definitely times when it, hey, you got it back. There's definitely times when it's basically telling everybody, hey, stay usable, stay live. But basically what that means is, now as a camera op, I'm saying, I'm telling myself, oh, I'm going to be live 100% of the time. Even though he's calling out a camera 3 and I'm on camera 2, I got to make sure that I'm acting as, or opping as if I'm live. Yeah. Let me get you back, Tyler. Yay.
The important part for that is to let them know
they
when they're
will.
done.
Right. Yeah. Let them know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they'll say like, "Hey, I'm going to do some quick cuts." I'm up. What that means is that I'm going to know that they're actually not going to call my number twice. And they're probably going to cut right off me, which means I'm going to change doing. So I'm not going to do like a run. I'm actually going to probably or do something really quick. So that helps also. 4, 6, 2, and then you come out of it. But it takes that like going, okay, he's not going to call me the way that
Yeah. Yep. Jeremy, I think this is a good question. This is actually from the Discord server that we have. But somebody asked, basically it was fairly lengthy. However, the gist of it is my pastor and I want to make changes to our stream, to our video, all that stuff. However, they're getting a lot of feedback from the congregation that they don't like it, or, you know, like there's too much of this going on, or how should they handle that? It's mostly the person that asked it is mostly talking about like how do they talk with their senior leader to kind of get them like they want to take it to the next level. They want to, you know, be innovative, and it seems like the pastor's on board with that, but they're trying to feel like what's the best direction to go to break out of tradition.
Yeah, I think it's got to be everything rises and falls with vision, right? So I think the senior pastor would probably need to address like, hey, we want to make some changes, and so you're going to see some things differently. There's people that we want to be able to reach, and we believe that God is telling us, you know what I'm saying? Like, once pastor shares that vision, then as you're going out and releasing that vision and how you run production, then, you know, when people realize you're just trying to do what God's telling your pastor to go do, I think it helps. I think there's always going to be haters, no matter what you do, no matter what. And so I think, there are times that maybe you do need to listen to some people, but then there's times you just, if the Lord has laid something so heavy on the pastor's heart, you just go with it. You know, Pastor Mike likes to tell a story. Not too long after he became the senior pastor, God told him to invest in cameras for the church. They didn't have any way of live streaming or anything along those lines. And so he got up before the people one day and said, the Lord's telling me, I feel this so strongly that we're supposed to invest $80,000 into a camera system. And so they took up a big offering and they got it Some people were just so excited and were ready to go, and a ton of people left the church over it, right? 2 or 3 years later, one of Pastor Mike's sermons goes viral, and TC starts heading on the trajectory that we are right now. And it was on those $80,000 worth of cameras that message ended up going viral. And so, you know, Pastor Mike could have easily in that moment when people left the church say, hey, maybe I made a mistake. You know, maybe this is a lot of money. But he heard so strongly from the Lord, and it was on that gear that God took and elevated what he was doing here to a whole nother level. So again, I think it's just it's leadership, casting vision, and then you as the tech leader that has to go and make that stuff happen, knowing that leadership has your back. And that's elder board, that's leaders, executive pastors, like everybody's on the same board. We're moving in the same direction. We're saying the same things. We got your back. Like that's going to be a big thing, part of it. And then when it comes, like certain people are just, some are not going to get it. But if it is vision that's been given from the Lord and you feel confirmed that where God's going, you just got to be obedient. Even if that means some people may need to graciously move on.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
Speaking of graciously moving on, I love you guys, but I'm going to see you guys in a few hours for recordings.
All right. See you at work.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, hope you find your dad.
That reminds me, Jared, I texted you, but you're probably on your phone right now. Are you doing anything before call time?
I was editing a video, but
I have to go on an adventure and I need an extra hand.
Ooh.
So I didn't know if maybe you could go with me.
Ooh, hit me.
Nice.
Okay, I'll text you.
Just come pick me up from my.
That has great internet.
Yeah. Oh, I guess with that, guys, I just realized what time it was. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, let us know. Join the Discord. I'll put the link in my bio on Instagram. Later. And then if you guys enjoy this, we're gonna try to do this more often. Could be every week, could be every 2 weeks. We don't know yet. We're so busy. There's a lot of moving parts at TC right now, and a lot of stuff happened in this. So, yeah, let us know, and then I think I really want to end on this last question though, because oh wait, actually, sorry, this one kind of came in. That's really good. Let's see. How do you communicate with Cam when he keeps doing the same mistakes? Yeah, so cam ops that keep making the same mistakes, even though you talk to them a lot. There might have to come to a tough conversation where they might be better serving in another ministry, to be honest. If after, usually I'll ask them, I'll give them at least 3 to 4 chances after we've had talks and trainings and where they should come prepared. They, they're volunteering to help. Yes. But they're also volunteering because it's a service to God and it's a service to the people that are going to be watching. And so you definitely want to have a standard that you set. So I would definitely get to a spot where if they're constantly making mistakes and you've already talked to them, then talk about like, hey, this ministry might not be the best ministry for you. There's, I've seen how you light up with youth kids and stuff. So you might want to serve in the youth department, so that's that for that one. And then the last one that I really liked, and we'll end on this one for the 3 of us guys, is where are you? I just saw it. It's pretty far up there because I really liked it. What is inspiring your production right now, personally or as a team? We'll start with Jared.
So personally for me, so if It's not me trying to figure out how to get a good shot. It's not me trying to figure out how to get better at something. It's I love just being in the presence of God and allowing operate from that place. And so the more that I'm able to do moments, like the Lord will show me those things, but what drives this is my time alone with the Lord in the secret, and that then gets projected through a lens craft. And so that's my inspiration is worship, is that time. It can't be me looking at some YouTuber and thinking, oh, this is awesome, this looks like, those things are all fine and good, but at the foundation there, then I find that I'm doing something for that worth my time. If I'm not worshiping, I'm doing it. That for me is where I'm at, and that's my heart's desire. Prayer, even for all the time that I've been working, like that's just that I've been working at Bethel. My Lord, don't ever let this feel common. Remind me what it cost for me to even just come up for a weekend. Allow my heart to remain tense, to be continually done, so that I'm not just to feel mundane. So that in the shortest way possible.
I know, right? That's a big one, Jeremy.
So like part of the reason I was brought to Transformation Church, is to represent. And so for us, represent is showing God in new ways to the lost and the found, right? And so we feel very strongly that we want to be innovative. And I think innovation is great and it gets me fired up. But one of the things that God's inspiring me with is in the midst of innovation and pushing things forward, also remembering the God of Isaiah 6. So like, Isaiah gets this vision and he goes before the Lord. And when he sees the train of his robe filling the temple and the smoke and the cherubim saying, holy, 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 the minute he gets that picture, what's the very first thing Isaiah does is Isaiah remembers his own sinful nature and his stature in the light of a holy God and says, woe is me, I'm a man of unclean lips. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's this like representing a God who is holy and just. Like one of the attributes of God we know is that he is immutable, right? So that means he's unchanging. So the same God that killed a man for trying to push the Ark of the Covenant back up when it had fallen off and that man lost his life in the moment, that holy God that would not allow anyone to touch his ark, we still serve him, but because of the new covenant and all these different things, like we have this opportunity, we can represent him. So yeah, I'm really inspired right now with coming up with ideas that allow us to push the needle forward and how we represent God. But in the midst of that, also reminding people of who God is and his holiness and how important God's worship is to himself.
Nice. Yeah. For me, the thing that's inspiring me right now is pretty much what Jared said. It's remembering that there is a cost to everything, and there's a cost. If I come, so I recently on Instagram I posted about showing up on a Sunday to not just help support your pastor, but to actually go to war with him, right? Your pastors can feel that. They can feel when you're there to it's just another Sunday, or it's no, I'm here to help you, as I'm here to support. I'm here to be with you arm in arm, and we're going to go to war. We're going to do this. We're going to change the world together. And for me, what's inspiring me in that area is really learning how to do that, learning how to show up on a Sunday, even though it's just a normal Sunday, right? Oh, it's just another Sunday. But telling myself when I wake up, no, this is not just a normal Sunday. I know I like to say that, mistakes will happen, and it's a live environment. And just because you make a mistake, it doesn't mean that Johnny's not going to get saved, because God will always work through that. But at the same time, there has to be a level of excellence that you do things at that has to, you know, you still have to keep these people in mind. You still have to realize that, oh, you know what? Actually, today I'm praying for, or I'm fighting for this person's breakthrough. You know, I'm fighting for this. But yeah, that's where it's at. That's where I'm at right now. So thanks guys for your questions. Yeah, we'll try to do this again later. Jared on Instagram, your wife told Jeremy to take you. So she said, take him. So you're supposed to go with your wife, Jared. But yeah, thanks guys. We'll try to do this again later. And answer your questions. I'll have, we'll start to have some other guests as well. Like I'm going to reach out to all my friends, over at Elevation, all of my friends over at Passion, over at Bethel, you know, Jesse and all them. So we'll have them all.
A Life Church
thing. Life Church. So cool guys. Thanks. Talk to you guys later. Have fun and go out and live a transformed life. Bye. That's my son. Look at my son's like.
Are we still live?
Apparently Chewy is. Yeah, we're still live. I like it. Let me stop this here.